Peace to the family. Greetings. Good evening. Just for a precautionary measure, if there's anybody with screen recording apps, can you record this live? Because Instagram got rid of my last live that I did earlier. It was lit and mad funny. And I was gonna submit that live to Comedy Central because a nigga is trying to get a show. So if that live shows up on anybody's timeline, send it to my DM or send me a recording of it, because they just took that shit from me. I don't know why. I think I was talking about Sleepy Joe. I probably said something. I think I mentioned Israel. I don't know what the trigger words were, but there's a heavy censoring campaign going on, and they out here snatching intellectual property. Yeah, I was shadow banned for months. I didn't even know. I figured I was being. I didn't know to the extent. You know, I was getting like 3 likes on shit. I'm like, these niggas is really out here voting. They not fucking with me because I'm not a Democrat, nor did I go pro-Trump. I just thought that y'all was upset that I wasn't political. Come to find out, Mark Zuckerberg and these niggas, they were picking it. That's how I know some of these thought leaders, they gotta be sitting down with Silicon Valley working out some kind of, because every time I go live, every time I open up my app, these niggas are the first tweets that I see. But when it comes to certain voices, they're aggressively blocking us. They're shadow banning us. They're sending us threatening messages, talking about they're gonna deplatform us. Do you know what deplatform means? Deplatform means the same thing that you saw in the Matrix when they unplugged Tank and Dozer. When they were like unplugging niggas, that's deplatform. That means you'll get banned across all social media, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. You won't even be searched. You can't even be. Peace, Allah regime. Good looking, King. Yes, the hoodie is lit. I'm gonna throw that on and act a fool. You know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna floss that. I'm gonna let that thing. I'm gonna wear that for like 3 days straight. I'm just letting you know. I appreciate it though. I want to build with you though, King. Please send me your math on the DM. I have a proposition for you. So my thing is, how is it that I'm getting shadow banned? And I'm not one of those weird Negroes where it's like I'm weighing myself and measuring myself against other people. But nigga, it's just showing me. I'm like, there's a favoritism going on with the technology companies, because how the fuck how they gonna censor me, and who are they choosing not to censor? Like, what the fuck is going on? Is niggas brokering deals? That's all I want to know. Is there some kind of deals being brokered to where they're like, you know what? I won't talk about the small hats and just give me free reign. I'm gonna just get on here and push poverty conscious and fear amongst black people all day. Give me free reign. Because every time that I open up my motherfucking Twitter and my Instagram, it's certain motherfuckers that's staring at me every day. It's certain posts of certain thought leaders, and it's right in front of me. It's almost like I didn't even ask to see this nigga's post today. Please, just give me a break. And it's like a lot of these, it's not even a lot. It's just a few. But for the real voices, for the people that are not dealing with fear mongering, for the people that's not dealing with, they don't got muzzles and whatnot, They going right at the neck of these people. They giving up. They're not slow walking you through this thing. Because remember, I could take a whole year and slow, if I wanted to drag niggas along, I could take about 2 years dragging you and piecemealing you with all of this information and then hit you with the bolita. No, I'm getting right to it. I don't have no time to be cutting and stepping on the dope. I'm giving it right to you, and they don't like that. They don't like that. Remember, this is a business. Instagram and Twitter and all of these things, it's a business at the end of the day. And yes, the algorithms are at work. They work in the algorithms, but niggas is working with them people, man. And I don't care what nobody say. Your thought leaders is in bed with these Jews, straight like that. I mean, wait till I get the receipts. I'm gonna put them on the table, but I promise you, a lot of these, not a lot, it's a few, and it ain't even, nah, man. A lot of the woke niggas, a lot of the Hollywood woke niggas, like a lot of them, fear campaigns, victimhood consciousness. They almost like Benjamin Crump. These niggas is Benjamin Crump with a vocabulary. Somebody said quantum computers have figured you out and have declared you as a threat to their system and systems at play. Right. Henceforth, why, earlier in the summer, I was giving out information about the D-Wave machine, and I was like, fam, there was something called Leap 2, right? Leap, L-E-A-P. And I was like, yo, I got access to the D-Wave computer, and I showed everyone in my network how to sign up and have access to the D-Wave quantum computer. Do you know what that means? Do you know what it means to have access? Of course, they eventually cut my access. They was like, nah, nigga, we found out, because I was running certain computations that probably raised an alarm, and they kicked me off of the system and whatnot. But a lot of my network people, my students, they got on, and I think they might still be on. And I was explaining, I was like, yo, after the post-COVID, because of the COVID-19, they basically started running models on quantum computers, and they basically was like, look, we're allowing these quantum computers to run all of these basic they're running these computations in models and whatnot. So one of the examples that I could use is that through quantum computers, they could be like, yo, they through a quantum computers, they could have figured out how the whole George Floyd thing would work in their advantage based off of computations. A plus B equals all of that engineering, technological computations. They could figure out variations on how to move. They could run a computation if Kamala the cop and Joe Biden, like, you see this whole time where Trump is not conceding. What if during this whole time, some of the top people in Wall Street, some of the top army generals, and some of the top quote unquote political party affiliates are behind the scene running mad different variations through the quantum computer? They have the power to do that now. The same type of variations that you saw in Avengers movie where Doctor Strange said, I ran 14 million variations and there's one that will bring the motherfucker Avengers back. One. But he was able to compute 14 million variations like this. That's called quantum, my niggas. In case you don't know, that's called a D-Wave computer. Okay? That technology exists today. If you don't believe me, because you're not supposed to believe me, you're supposed to question everything that I say. I'm out here clout chasing. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm one of the goofies. Right? That's how you're supposed to see it. and go and do your due diligence. Don't take anything that I'm saying on face value. Go and talk to Siri, Alexa, or Google. Don't worry about it. I mean, because I'm very confident in anything that I say, because I already know that I'm standing on what it is that I'm standing on, right? So, with that being said, if you go and figure it out, if you go and do the research on a D-Wave computer and quantum computing and all of the programs that they're running and all of the the computations that they're running, you're gonna be like, oh shit. Not only do they have, if you watch the documentary on Netflix called, it was about social media. What was it called? Social Dilemma. They explain the social dilemma, that one of the big things about social media is that they were able to map alternative worlds, right? It's called the a sentient world, right? This sentient world is where your avatar or your second life or your digital twin exists, right? And your digital twin has your personalities based off of the profile that they picked up off of your data. He's left-handed. He's a Scorpio. You know what I'm talking about? He likes girls with big butts. You know what I mean? Shit like that. They know your appetites. They know your vices. They know what website you on at 3 a.m, my nigga. You know what I'm talking about? They know all of that shit. So they know if they're going to infiltrate you, they're going to send shorty with a big butt and a smile at you. That's going to be one of their agents, because they know your appetite. They're going to feed it. That's what Federal Bureau of Investigation means. They're investigating you, nigga. It's a whole bureau. And they're federal. And they're watching you. And they're creating a profile on you, a psychological profile. So, remember the movie Seven, when they sent the head in a box, and Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt were federal agents, and the feds were doing what? They were able to, you remember Silence of the Lambs with Jodie Foster? She was able to figure out the serial murderer by studying them, by investigating and studying they're studying their pathological ways. They're studying them. That's what the feds do. They don't run in the crib. They're not the fucking SWAT. They're not TNT. They're not the boys. They're dealing with surveillance. So all of those little mini cameras, when you got the heebie-jeebies and you think that somebody's looking at you, yeah, it's the ancestors and it's the feds. Okay? They could look through your house. If they could look at Pluto through the Hubble telescope, my nigga, they talking about, oh, we saw star systems blowing up 50 trillion light years away. You don't think that they invested in a fucking telescope that could look at your monkey ass in your fucking room? Huh? Oh, Red, they can't look through your house because, that's against the law. Nigga, they just told you that they could look at the pimple on a nigga's ass if he's standing on Neptune. And they can't look at you. You that fucking arrogant that you think that shit can't work on you? Come on now. You know what I'm saying? Really? No, they could see you. They could see you. They know what you doing. They know what you did last summer. They know what you eating. They know that you out there hating on me. They heard your conversations. They know that you niggas is out here pillow talking. You know what I'm talking about? They know who you secretly hating on. They know who you publicly hating on. They know your appetite, sexual. They know that you might be biting on pillows, nigga, and touching your toes, nigga. They know that you into S&M and M&S. They know it all. So you got to move wisely, because that's what them people's jobs is. And there's 17 agencies, other outside of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Yeah, they know if you're cheating on your wife. You feel me? With the water boy. They know like Shorty Low, nigga. They know. Yeah, all they gotta do is put the feds on Pornhub and fucking video and X video, nigga. That's where a lot of niggas is pulling up. They know. And on OnlyFans. You know what I'm talking about? All they gotta do is put some cookies on those sites and they've nabbed a lot of niggas. They know. They know that you into amputee porn, granny porn, and shit like that. Yeah, they know. And I haven't heard one person in this community talk about the dark web, the onion router, and how to really function on that shit. And yeah, your phone is agent number one. The phone is the feds. I'm the phone the police. They don't really need to pay a spy to basically sit outside your house. They don't need to pay one of your friends. Well, they're still paying niggas to snitch on you. But your phone is telling on you. Yeah, like the Ashley Madison leak. Exactly. No, what about the OnlyFans dump? They blew up a whole lot of households with that one and the Ashley Madison leak. You know what I'm talking about? How you doing?
How you doing?
So let me give you the intro. Family, I know that you were, I don't know if y'all know that we doing a trip to Puerto Rico because like I said, I've been shadow banned, right? I just went online the other day and people were like, where you been, Red? Like, I've been in your face. I've been in Atlanta posting everything. How, you didn't see it. Okay. But in December, while everybody is chilly and, getting their Joe Biden and Kamala Harris outfits together to go to the inauguration. Can you might have to wipe that camera off, Karma.
What camera? It's dusty.
Your camera. A little bit. We need to see you in all of your brilliance. There you go. So while we on our hibernation, because that's what happens in the winter, I always suggest that those of us that are on the front lines going hard in the spring and in the summer, we somewhat fall back from social media and we recharge in the hibernation season, especially those of us who say, you know what? I'm getting more in touch with nature as a netter. I'm studying nature more, and if I'm in tune with nature, I'm a netter. I'm a netteroo. So if you're in tune with nature, you have to abide by the laws of nature. And in the wintertime, especially even right now, this is the harvest season. This is the time to collect the last of the nuts or the acorns before you go into hibernation. So in December and in January and in February, if you exhaust yourself and if you burn yourself out like this is the spring or the summertime, you will not have enough energy to basically propel yourself into the new year, which is the spring when we're supposed to spring forward. So with that being said, we've decided that we're going to go off of the grid a week before the conjunction, which is December 21st, which is a date that is, this is a galactical celestial event that will take place. This is taking place once in every, what is it? 800 years? So on the week of December the 12th, leading up to the 14th, but I spoke to Araji earlier. He said we might extend it because of so many people signing up. We are going to the beautiful paradise island of Puerto Rico, the door of the riches, right? And we're having a retreat called the Holistic Entrepreneurs Retreat. And one of the keynote speakers and the guests that's joining us on that retreat is our lovely sister, all right? My sister, your sister, okay? Coming straight out of Queen of Fours camp, right? Our sister Karma Soul is going to be in the building. You know what I'm talking about? I just wanted to, introduce you.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Yes, indeed. Let the family know who you are in case they don't, they never met you.
Absolutely. Well, greetings, y'all. I'm excited about Puerto Rico. I'm excited about life. I'm excited about December 21st, the winter solstice, going into 2021. I'm excited about being on the front lines and having the tools and being fortified and being, unafraid of what is to come and also what is right now. I'm not just looking to the future. I'm also tapped into right now in this moment. So I'm Karma, soul doctor, karma, Anika, out all that good stuff. I'm a dancer, I'm a jeweler, I'm a healer, medicine woman. I'm certified to do this.
That's right.
That's what I'm doing. My main certification is that I'm tapped into the God consciousness. So the marathon is continuing on. I'm grateful. We got Red Pill, we got Blue Pill, we got Supernova, we got Rain Global, we got Oraje, who was the curator of this whole thing and a mastermind. So it's gonna be powerful, you know, and I'm just very grateful to be a part of it, and looking forward to it.
It is gonna be paradigm shifting.
Yes, it is.
You know, one of the things that I would suggest, because somebody is saying, you know, if they can't make it to Puerto Rico, what is my suggestion that they do for the winter solstice? And my suggestion to anybody listening to this is to get off of the grid.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the big city, if you're in the killing fields, if you're in the metropolis, you know, many of us live in killing fields. Like if you live in Milwaukee,
that's where I'm from.
You're from Milwaukee, right?
Shout out to my city.
Shout out to Milwaukee in the building. If you're from, you know, Illinois, you know, or they call Killinois. If you're from the Brick City, if you're from New York, the Empire State, you know what I mean? Escape from New York.
Ooh.
Go to Bear Mountain. Go to the woods. Go somewhere tropical just for that weekend. You know, go close to the equator. Go and do the research and find out where's the best place to be advantageous wise to your spirit body when these stars align.
Hey,
being in the projects is going to be the best place to go. Or staying or remaining in the concrete jungle, because this is a revelation that I got in Atlanta, you know, during the summer.
oh,
Yeah, pardon me.
no problem.
So what I was saying was nature, right? Nature is where God utilized his or her paintbrush, right, to basically create a natural environment, right? In the big city, like New York, these are newly built civilizations, divinely inspired, of course, by something greater than us, like a Most High. You know, we utilize sacred geometry, things of that nature to build out these cities and buildings and skyscrapers. But
yeah, geomancy,
but it's not necessarily from God's paintbrush.
Perverted.
So in order to experience what they call God, it would be indicative of you to be in an environment that God has created, not what man has created. Okay? So God we should be in nature.
Yes, we should.
Because if you ever stood on top of a mountain, or if you've ever been in a rainforest, or if you've ever been in the middle of the ocean, or if you've ever been in the forest, or even the desert, you'll be like, wow, this is majestic. And don't be in a place where you're in a meditative state. Like, don't be in a place where you're defocalized, where you're not basically focused on, you know, stress and all the bills and shit like that. Like when you could remove yourself from that space of being on a hamster wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, you're gonna you in a jungle and you don't have no worries.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
Mm-hmm.
and you're around people who you trust and people that you can learn from and people whose energy could create this collective energy auric field. No, you're gonna experience something different, right? Don't let the ladies be dancing.
Cause that's going down.
You already know.
Up. Shout out to my sister Clemmy Meyer in Ghana. Chime
That's
in.
right.
Ghana.
And when you put yourself in the right place, you will begin to experience what God has to offer.
Mm.
And like I said, because of the electromagnetic fields, because of the wires, because of all of the blockages that are in the cities or the metropolis, it is very hard. It is very hard to experience that. Somebody says, what do you do when you have children? Please clarify that. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Oh, like if they have what should they do? Like if they have children, like during that time of the solstice.
Oh yeah, well, you know, I do a lot of IMs with my daughter. We meditate, you know, I would take the children, I would deal with meditation, I would deal with, you know, she could.
Hey, Boo Boo. Hi.
Right on cue. So like, you know, I would take them with me wherever I go into nature. She's been in the mountain. I didn't go to the mountaintop by myself. Right. I'm taking her to show her what it really is. Mm-hmm. You feel me?
Absolutely.
It don't matter if I go into nature and my daughter don't know what it's about and she just want to play on Roblox all day. Mm-hmm. On the tablet. You know, that's an experience, but that you cannot. They on a video game playing with avatars and they flying on unicorns going into their own big worlds, mm-hmm. right? But I'm like, yo, there's a real big world in the real world that I could take you to. So mm-hmm. your imagination could begin to grow and expand and just, you know, and be nurtured.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And another thing you can do with your kids is listen, you know, because I've been able to spend time with children, even with Pink Pill, you know, and they hold so much wisdom and so much power. Like, you know, the scripture says, out of the mouths of babes. You know, so just listening and tapping into what it is they have to share with you, because they're so much closer to inter than we are. You know, it was just 7 years ago.
They just came from the inter.
Exactly. Exactly. So.
I'm 40 plus years moved mm-hmm. from the center. Mm-hmm. She's more innocent because she just got here.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad that the sister asked that question. To be honest with you, the spirit is telling me for this December 21st alignment is really mostly about them because mm-hmm. they're going online. Mm-hmm. What is my 40 some odd year self getting online during the solstice? What is that going to help?
Right.
What more can I say that I haven't said? What more can I do that I haven't done? Mm-hmm. Am I going to grow wings? Unless they give me the Thanos power, you're not going to see a lot more from me. That, you know, unless I get the Thanos, if they give me this last ring and I'm able to clean up the Democratic Party with a finger. Unless that happens, I don't know what else to expect. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What am I going to get? Inspired during the... No. They're coming online. They're the ones that are going to go online. They're the ones that are going to activate. Their DNA is the one that's going to begin to unravel and wake up. It's about the babies. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Hurry up, girl.
It's about them. That's right? Mm-hmm. So I'm preparing a village I'm preparing an environment. I'm preparing experiences, because I tell my daughter, I said, everything that we do is about experience. You feel me? Because I can't necessarily memory recall when I was 8 years old in St. Croix with Dr. Sabi and Mama and Ma'a and all of the family at the fig tree. I only could recall experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can't recall anything else but certain things that I saw. Right? And there was a traumatic experience that took place at Sabi's at the fig tree, where somebody was, coming in there with violent energy. And that embossed on my mind. Trauma is something that you'll always remember. Okay? Mm-hmm. That's why they traumatize the children, because that stays, it's a stain. If they can't recall memory, they'll always go back to the trauma, because that stays with you. When somebody punches you in your mouth, you're always going to remember that. Mm-hmm. You might not remember the hugs and the kisses, but you're going to remember the trauma. So we want to create experiences that are not traumatic. We want to create experiences where their hearts are touched. Mm-hmm. And it's something that stays with them. We got to protect these babies. We got to protect our new generation from the generational curses that have been following us and have been plaguing us, because we not on the plantation no more. We not getting whooped by no masters and whatnot. You know what I mean? We not endangered. You know what I'm saying? We're not. I'm not gonna fall into that category. I'm not gonna allow my children to feel like they're being traumatized by the media and all of this stupid shit, because that's not what it is. They're here to do the work, and shit is upside down, and they're witnessing that, and it is what it's supposed to be. This thing didn't fix itself by itself. We got work to do. Mm-hmm. So she'll be with me in PR, right?
Oh, Puerto Rico. So speaking of those generational curses too, Red, that's actually what I'm going to be dealing with in my workshop in Puerto Rico. My workshop is going to be called Purging the Patterns, which consists of so many of those different things, like lack mentality, poverty mentality, things that's been passed down in the bloodline, in the DNA, which is also known as a generational curse, imposter's complex, not fully knowing who you are, operating outside of your ma'at or your truth, and even the Willie Lynch. We still dealing with Willie Lynch. That theory, hating on one another and feeling intimidated when we see someone else rising, because that type of system, we've been conditioned to feel like if someone else is winning, then I have to take them down, because it's only one or two people or a handful of people that, should be successful in our society.
Right.
The crabs in the barrel.
Right. That's all Willieism. That's all Willie Lynchisms. That's not who we are. Mm-mm. We don't live in lack. Mm-mm. We don't live in lack. We don't live in a crab. We not in no barrel. Mm-mm. So on the day, right?
No.
We rise each other up, because if you make it, I made it. If you got strong legs, then I can stand up then. Mm-hmm. We don't need to be crutches upon each other. We all need to focus on leg day. We need strong legs to stand on. Mm-hmm. Your knees are strong. I've seen you dance. Knees are strong. There they go. Strong knees. You know what I'm talking about? Look.
That's my vote. We're going to have a funky, good time in Puerto Rico.
So we need to have some strong knees. We need to be able to stand on our own. But in order to stand on our own, we got to have each other's support.
That's right.
If we have a brand, if we have a product, if we have a service, we need to be in service towards each other, and we got to support each other's brands. One of the whole trip is built around holistic entrepreneurship, right?
Mm-hmm.
The segment that we'll be dealing with, though, on day 2 with me and Blue,
Mm-hmm.
is that we're going to be bringing the plant-based medicine, and we're going to be dealing with getting rid of these quote-unquote core issues, or not getting rid of them, but addressing them. What
Mm-hmm.
better place to deal with that but the jungle, but in paradise,
The
but on the
Enchanted
island?
Island. Mm-hmm.
Huh?
The Enchanted Island.
The Enchanted Island. What better place to deal with it but there? So for anyone, because at the end of the day, the core issues are tied into the fact that we can't get our holistic businesses off the ground.
Right.
It's tied into the fact that some of us can't see ourselves as billionaires and whatnot, or we can't see ourselves being our own bosses and whatnot. That's dealing with, a lot of that might be dealing with fear, lack, anxiety, somebody telling you that you ain't nothing but a slave when you were in kindergarten.
Yeah.
Trauma, that's PTSD. Unsupported family members who just want you to be an employee.
Woo.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Abusive boyfriends and girlfriends who are emotionally abusive. Oh, you ain't worth nothing. You can't.
Yeah.
You trying to sell shea butter? What you talking about?
Yes.
What's,
Unhealthy relationship patterns. The cycle as it keeps, because you can get rid of one and you get another one, and then that's the same spirit dressed up in another outfit.
Lipstick on a pig, right? People come into this community and they're not taking any showers. They're just putting on these new white robes, but they didn't wash off what they came from Christianity with. They didn't wash off what they came from another religion with. They didn't wash off when they came home from beating a body or doing 28 years. They didn't wash off the trap. Mm-hmm. There's no quarantine until you get into this community. They don't have a quarantine, a holding cell. They're not giving it, they're not delousing people. They're not deworming anyone. Mm-hmm. They're just throwing lipstick on a pig, right?
Yeah,
so everybody, you just change your name on Facebook and you write at it. You go to a lecture and now you're considered a master's student. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's going to take a lot more, because people were introduced to consciousness through debating. People were introduced to consciousness through finessing. People were introduced to consciousness just to be like, I'm smarter than you, through ego. But people were not introduced to consciousness to say, yo, this is about transformation. To be honest with you, you're not even supposed to be on social media.
Right.
Real talk.
Right.
They confuse consciousness with social media.
Mm-hmm.
And then the two don't got nothing to do with each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a place for us to get up.
Yes.
And to do a little bit of flexing.
When you are really downloading, Red, is when you're offline. When you're online, you sharing your revelations. When you're offline, you're downloading.
That's right. So if we're going to utilize social media, it should be, like you said, for the demonstration of what it is that we're doing when we're offline.
You're offline.
I don't need you to go live when you're grounding. I don't need you to go live when you meditating and when you're doing a doggy. What's that? The downward dog.
The downward dog. Because I just got out the tub. I didn't have the cameras on in the tub.
Huh?
I didn't have the cameras on in the tub. You know what I'm saying? I'm fresh out the tub. Harriet Tubman.
Some people do. Harriet Tubman on OnlyFans. She got the GoPro underwater camera while she in,
wade in the water.
Yeah, this girl named Harriet Tubman. She be in the tub with the iPhone that's like waterproof. You know, they are taking you to the tub with them.
I understand, but that's that's not the science that we're talking about right now, because
not at all.
Like, again, no.
Somebody said, how do we get rid of pigs with lipstick? Do the work. It's all shadow work.
It's
all internal work. It's no judgment. I might have came in here with lipstick on a pig. I might have got in this community without taking a shower in like 2004, because I did. I came right off the streets. And I had to take multiple showers throughout the years to get that off of me. And what was on me? It was the skin of a nigga, right? The stench. Look, she's like, you see when she heard us. The stench of Negro tube. It was on me. You know? She knows. She wasn't even here. She know.
Because that's how I even came into that whole concept of purging the patterns from, I'm teaching a workshop that I had to go through and constantly go through. So that's just another concept. It's no result of like an end result. It's a continuum. And we're always looking for results, but I'm purging patterns in my life right now. That's why I'm fresh out the tub. So I had to purge the patterns in order to birth my business as a holistic entrepreneur, you know, so living what it is that you're teaching, you know.
Exactly. You know, and kudos to you for that.
Thank you.
I know where you come from, right? And you know, I know that you come from royalty. You know, your Umi and your dad, you know, very focused, very determined, very what they call industrious. You feel me?
Absolutely.
So, you know, we got to be responsible for each other, especially when we know where we each come from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And to be in this community and to not know what you in this community for, and to not even know what this community is a travesty. And I hold that on some of the quote unquote elders who ushered in a lot of people into this community under the wrong pretenses. But I'm here to let anybody that's willing to hear me know that the only thing that this community, not the only thing, but mainly this is about transformation and edification of your higher self. And this is about healing. The reason why so many people in consciousness trauma bond is because we all got it.
Yes.
But I'm not here to trauma bond. I'm not here to, I know that things are messed up. We reincarnated because we wanted to be in the middle of, you know, this messed up reality. We came here, we signed up to bring an algorithm to this messed up reality, or to the glitch in this matrix. We came here to bring solutions. So how dare I waste your time pointing out the problems? How dare I make a business out of pointing out the problems? How dare I tweet 100 million tweets about the problem all day, but I don't got no solutions, and I don't do any type of professional transformation work in front of the masses. I'm not into, you know, that's what a lot of these people is. They not into no kind of transformation. They don't want to see you. The only thing they growing is their hair.
Oh, can I share my acronym for SHIFT?
Please do.
And I was inspired by the shifters. Shout out to the shifters.
Shout out to the shifters.
Yes, sourcing high information for transformation. Because a lot of times, like you said, we're just taking in the info, but are you transforming? And so going from the info to the transformation to the Kepara, because you know, we're in the information age, but how are we able to apply those things? So moving from knowing the ledge to the wise dome application.
I would go on record to say that we're in an age of experience, and that we kind of got off for the exit of the information age. That the information age theoretically was from 08 to about 18. We are now, and you brought up the shifters, and I would bring up the shifters as an example that we are in the age of experience, because through the paradigm shifters, Ben X, RZA, Derek Grace, Keys, Pop Darby, Billionaire PA, who is also going to be on a trip with us, Red and Blue Pill, and a few others. You're seeing them demonstrate. You're seeing them demonstrate. They're taking the information and they're utilizing it.
Absolutely.
They took knowledge and they made it born. Okay?
Yes, knowledge is born.
They're not the same crop of teachers that you might have seen me with in 2016 and 15. It's different. Okay. It's a different type of energy. It's a different type of approach. It's a different type of, and it's a different type of algorithm. Please
it's
understand.
The Christ consciousness. It's the word being made flesh.
Yeah, they didn't come from YouTube. They came from Instagram, right? So even on these apps, the apps have a different personality. Even they spawn. The apps have spawned different type of people, because the YouTube app have spawned a different type of teacher that Twitter apps have spawned. Twitter is stayed woke. Twitter is niggas that march. and come up with these colorful letters and these characters in 140 words.
Yeah, I'm not even on Twitter.
I mean, I ain't really on there either. But I went there to understand the temperature of it and what it represents in this whole this maze that we're in. And Instagram represents, there's people making millions of dollars off the gram, right? You don't see that on YouTube. There's not successful people on YouTube in this community. They're coming off of Instagram. Instagram is a monetization app. Twitter is a political app. I used to say it before. Twitter is your head. Instagram is your eyes, because it's about what you see. Twitter is about what you're thinking. And YouTube is more so, you know, it's about what you're hearing, what you're seeing, you know, because it's video. But there are success stories built off of these different apps. I'm not privy to the TikTok conscious people yet. That's too new for me.
Yeah, not
and
yet.
We know Snapchat turned into OnlyFans. Talk black to me.
Facts.
So it's a whole energy just with the apps.
Yes.
But when you go in the app store, it says for teens, all of them. So even the apps have conformed our behaviors as grown-ass adults to function in a teenager's paradigm. None of these apps necessarily speak to the adult in any of us. None of these apps are conducive or they're not upgrading anybody's adult experience. Oh, you flashing some nipples? Young 60-year-old sister? Okay. All right. That's cute. Elder, you know, showing off his abs and whatnot. Yeah, your grandchildren are watching, you know. That's not indicative of upgrading our adult experience. That's not, you're not going to find that through the apps. The apps are made for teens. And they specifically, the people who designed them deal with psychology. Mark Zuckerberg, he was in Harvard dealing with studying the human brain. Right? When you go to Silicon Valley and you study their white papers and whatnot, they specifically speak to who they're catering to and what demographics they are trying to reach. It's not people in the quote unquote later years of their lives. That's not who these apps are developed for. So we are being underdeveloped when we participate on these apps. You're not supposed to be a chatty patty in on social media and wondering about who likes you and all of this stuff in the twilight years of your life.
Ooh.
What are you doing? You competing with teenagers on a teenager's app. So we need to sit down with some of our developers, the blurred specifically, black nerds, and we need to brainstorm about how we could introduce an app that is going to be indicative of those of us that are in the certain range, the age group that we need that upgrade.
I'm working on my own personal app right now for that specific reason, coming out in 2021, you know. So we on the same, that's the frequency, that's the wave, because again, you know, I can just with social media, looking around at the things that people post and things like that, it takes a lot of work for me, you know, and not to be moved or swayed and to stay on my own sacred seat and to show up authentically and not in a way that I feel like I'm gonna get some likes from this and, you know, this is the wave. I'm creating my own wave, you know, and it may take longer, you know, and all of that, but, you know, just staying in my eye, staying true to my own self, that's difficult to do on social media when the hip thing to do is be a thought, a conscious thought instead of having conscious thoughts.
Exactly. And by having the power to block certain people, by having the power to shadow ban certain people, by having the power to say, I want Karma to see Red Pill's post, but I don't want this other person to see it. Now they're manipulating the streams of consciousness. That is extremely dangerous when you're dealing with flows, when you're dealing with information dissemination, when you're dealing with just getting the word out and many other things. So I know that these apps are addictive. right? Because like I said, when you study the people who have created them, and when you read their white papers, and when you find out they're about attention retention. What does that mean? What it means is they're designing everything to make your eyeballs stick to them. The way that they receive money in advertising, because this is a big advertising marketing game. It's about who could stay on Twitter the longest, who could stay stuck on Instagram the longest.
That's right.
So that's why they have hearts popping up to release dopamines. I'm supposed to get excited while I'm speaking to you that there's a heart flowing in my peripheral, and I'm like, oh, they like me. They like what I'm saying. Let me say more.
Yes, because we're in a society that breeds instant gratification. Did you just do that?
A live painting while we were talking.
That's how you do that right there. Ooh, wait.
I might turn this into a body tat one day.
Yes, exactly. And shout out, she did that beautiful story last night in Melanin Mondays.
She read the story about the mother.
Beautiful.
The author of that book, I forgot the brother's name, but he came to a Melanin Monday and he gifted us the book. And I just want to give him a shout out. She's going to go get the book right now.
Yes, she is.
She's actually writing a book as we speak. I don't want to put all the information out there, but, you know,
of course she is.
Wisdom Bella is faring very good in the village of Atlantis.
Yeah.
I doubt it. Atlantis. Because there was a sister who came forward yesterday. My father is Jeremy Boyer. Right? He's the author. Right?
He wrote My Mother is #1 and My Mother is #2 and My Father is.
Right. So, you know, children's literature, something that I'm highly invested in now because they have stories to tell. And a sister came yesterday to Melanin Monday, and she was in contact with a European who is selling lithium water from the lithium springs, right?
I'm familiar.
And he explained how the water comes from Stone Mountain. But the European is privy to certain information that the Negro might not be privy to. So the European told her, he said, do you know that the home, the headquarters, right, of the Olmec civilization was not in the Yucatan Peninsula, it's in Stone Mountain. And he said Atlanta is Atlantis of lore, okay? Those mountains had gold in them. They found Egyptian artifacts all up and down Stone Mountain, okay? When they excavated it, there's certain land on Stone Mountain that you can't even go on right now. And that's why the KKK made that their quote unquote, that's why they made it their, you know, that's why they took it over.
Their headquarters.
Their headquarters. It's a spell, okay? It's a humongous spell. That is not a mountain, that is quartz. When you go and research piezoelectricity and you understand the power of quartz, that's why they have put their faces on the side of the mountain. And I told somebody they wanted me to go, they invited me to come and see the lights during Christmas. I'm like, unless somebody takes the faces, those Confederate soldiers off the side of that mountain, I'm not even climbing it no more. Them people that went on that mountain with all of those weapons, they had a job to do. And they didn't do it. Them Confederate flags were supposed to have been burnt on that mountain that day. And that relief on the side of the mountain should have been target practice that day. We will bail you out.
Yeah.
We got the bail money. We got to go find me going. That relief, those flags, and the history of that. And I do give credit for raising the quote unquote awareness of people who did not have the awareness of what Stone Mountain represented. I give all praises due to the demonstration that took place. I'm being, what is that called? Critical. But at the end of the day, somebody did something. But for anybody that ever wants to know how to lift the spell up off the South, not just Atlanta, Right.
That was about how these guys were killing black men.
Yes, but it was a.
He showed up.
No, I understand, but the headquarters of the KKK, being Stone Mountain, it was a direct confrontation.
They didn't even come.
Burn their flags.
They didn't even show up. Those guys.
Yeah, burn their flags and deface what they've already defaced. That was our monument.
He wasn't there to commit a crime.
True indeed.
Greetings, Mama Pill.
Greetings, Mama Pill.
Greetings.
Here goes, yeah. So, this spell, this on the deep south, right? People talk about the deep state, and they talk about a lot of these things, but they don't want to talk about the deep south, and they don't want to speak about where it started. It was kicked off in the Wilmington Massacre. That's when the Wilmington Massacre took place in 1898. That was the revival, and that was the kickoff in so many different black townships, and it was a fusion government mixed with a black Republican government. All of that fell after 1898. People talk about what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but the Wilmington Massacre precedes that.
That's a penal colony.
This is a penal colony, and the fact that our front line of defense was desecrated. The penitentiary, right? Atlanta has been, right. The penal colony. I'm near the federal penitentiary in Atlanta, where they put Marcus Garvey, where it's an eyesore, and all of the dope boys got to drive by that every day, and they still out here doing what they do.
It's like Rome.
Right, it's like Rome out here.
It's Roman architecture.
And the mounds are landfills. I'm on Moreland Ave, where one of the biggest mounds is a landfill. They put in all kind of they dumping waste on it, right in our faces. Mm-hmm. So the spell, there's a deep spell in the South, and that spell can be broken. Okay, that spell could be broken, but that spell has to get put into the sunlight. We have to shine a light on what has taken place. So what I'm talking about Wilmington, that's Cape Fear. Oh, they put a whole bunch of our people in that river. That's along the coastline, right? Because remember the Carolinas and all of that. That's Geechee Gullah land. That's the coastline. That is some of the most beautifulest parts of America. Beautiful, yeah, Keith Murray, the most beautifulest girl. So when you look at the coastlines of Savannah, when you look at the coastlines of the Carolinas, when you look at the coastlines of Florida, that's where they took over. This summer we went to American Beach, White Sands. Oh, yeah. Some of the water, we were in the waters like 3 a.m. I'm talking about we were walking out. I could never do that on South Beach. The waters on South Beach scared me to death at night. I thought I thought the Blue Lagoon was gonna come out of that water. The water was pitch black, and the energy on that whole beach at night was very eerie. When we went to America Beach, it was the opposite of that. It was pitch black, but we were able to see our feet in the water. Somebody asked why. Because on South Beach, there's too much vice in Miami, right? There is too much vice. Too many things have taken place on that beach. The energy, all of the people that died in that water and everything that's going on that beach at night, you could feel it in the air. It's the opposite on American Beach, which used to be owned by a melanated man, right? Very, very light water. Very light water. So there's a significance in a lot of things. And we're talking about going to Puerto Rico. And I'm saying that I'm saying that because Puerto Rico is connected, is a boat ride away from the Virgin Islands, which is our ancestral land through my mother's bloodline. Okay? And they call Puerto Rico the Enchanted Island.